Hello, my fam. How are you? So, how are you all today? Once again, we're back here on another Saturday. And I want to ask you a question. And I want you to really think about what I'm asking you, okay? Because I really want you to understand what we're talking about today. So, have you ever walked into a messy, extremely very cluttered room and immediately felt stressed? Now think about it. When you've walked into the room and all of a sudden it kind of makes you feel delirious almost, like what's going on? And your first instinct is to just react. I mean, even if you couldn't explain why, just the mere feeling of it's almost like disorientation, but you can't explain it. You cannot explain why. Well, today we are going to talk about your home decor and what it's doing to you. Um, and that your organization can directly affect your mental well being. And even the people that you live with can affect you. So let's dive in and learn some action steps or what you can do. So, hey, once again, it's Mother Motivated, and we're here about creating life and home that feels good. I am encouraging moms to, really take care of themselves, and when they're taking care of themselves, it definitely helps the home, right? And so, because it, helps the home, if you're on here, say hi. We like really good comments on here, okay? And don't forget to like and subscribe, of course. You want to create a life that you want to wake up to. If you love topics about mindset, home life, motivation, and things like that for moms, make sure you hit the subscribe button and turn on those notifications. I'm going to be breaking down 3 ways your home decor and your organization could be affecting your mental state. All right, don't forget to say hi. And I would love for you all to interact while I am going over these steps. So the 3 things I'm going to be talking about today is the visual noise. You heard that? Visual noise that clutter creates. So there's different types of noise, right? Number 2, the energy your decor gives off. And 3, how your environment influences your habits and your emotions. Remember, I started out with saying, you just come inside and all of a sudden you feel like yelling, or especially at your children. You feel like yelling at them. Probably you shouldn't. Just because the house is disorganized or looks a certain way, you could have worked so hard to organize it, and then, you know, it just becomes disorganized. So the first one we're going to be looking at is the visual noise. Hi, good afternoon, Jessica. How are you? Good to have you on. How's your day? Thank you. Good afternoon to you as well. The first point we're going to be talking about is the visual noise that clutter makes. Um, Clutter isn't just stuff that's, hanging around. It's that visual noise. It's that constant overwhelming in your brain. Um, and then, it brings back a lot of memories that you have some unfinished tasks to complete. And if you're the kind of person who, hi Jackson, you have a hard time getting things done, when you see a cluttered home, it automatically throws you off your rocker. And, you know, So, and it reminds me of the things you need to clean, but then you have to think about it. And because a lot of these things are deeply rooted in our emotions, why is it that we have a cluttered home? What's going on within inside of us that is trickling down to our families, and those who we live with in our home, why the home cannot be clean. And we have to think about all these things because tell your son hello, and I'm glad you guys are doing well. And I am doing well. Thank you so much for hopping on. Um, so, Mr. Ash, we're actually talking about um, visual noise and how the disorganization and clutter in your home can actually disturb your mental well-being. And hi, Mr. Love, how are you? Um, yeah, so all of these things, when you walk into the home, they can affect your mental well-being. And so we're talking about the first point is the visual noise that clutter creates. And every time you walk into the home, it reminds me of the unfinished tasks that you have not gotten done. And you try to figure out the time. And honestly, if you're the kind of person, if you have like that ADHD brain, at least I know for myself, not ADHD and diagnosed, but I find it that I work well in groups. And I always say that for those of you who have a hard time getting things done, work in a group where you can take tasks off together, and get it done, and you have an accountability partner. And it's good to have an accountability partner because things start to pile up. Your mail piles up, random toys, chair, there's clothes on it. You ever washed your clothes and you kind of just either throw it on the bed or throw it onto the chair and you just don't get it done because you feel like you don't have that motivation to do it? There's so many things that you need to um, pay attention to as to what's going on. Anytime you have these feelings, it's really good to either write it down or use the voice note on your phone and make a note of it. And then eventually, when you can write it down, then write it down and look back on it. And then think about what type of disturbance, the cluttered clothes, the cluttered home, the toys, food in the kitchen, unwashed dishes, shoes all over the floor, and socks, and things like that, and why they are creating this type of clutter. Sometimes you want to fix it, sometimes you don't want to. Maybe it bothers you, maybe it doesn't. But I am learning that these types of clutter, they happen for a reason. And I myself, and I'm looking at a lot of these things, and I'm saying, why is my home cluttered? Or why do I hold on to these things? Is there okay, so Mr. Ash, you don't have the motivation to do anything really, but you still do it, which is really good because you have a self motivation, which is really, really good. And I'm hoping that you're paying it forward and you're helping someone else because sometimes people are really mentally stuck that it's very hard for them to to declutter. And when you walk into their homes, it says a lot about who that person is. So, I just want to let you know that when your home is cluttered and things are all over the place and they're just not in place, for the most part, because there's always an exception to the rule, and there's a reason that it is like that, um, is that it weighs on you emotionally. And even though you don't realize it, it does. Some people say that they can function in clutter, but there's a reason why things are cluttered for them because they could be holding on to something. I don't know, but maybe it reminds them of something. Some people say they can think better in clutter, but you have to remember that it affects those who also live with you. Our next topic is going to be the energy that your decor gives off. You ever walk into someone's home and you just say, "Wow, I feel so calm," you know? And you're like, why is it that you're calm in one person's home and then you're not calm in another? The colors make a difference. The scent of the home makes a difference. How much light is coming into the home. I feel like when there's a lot of light in the home, it's like getting your vitamin D. It kind of brings happiness, right? But the darker the home, I feel like the more gloomy it feels. So let's talk about the decor, like the colors, the textures, lighting. They can definitely shift the entire mood of your space. If you have warm, cozy tones, you can make the room actually feel inviting. And then bright colors uplift the mood and it boosts your energy. So you have to be careful um, to think about the types of colors you're actually putting into your home. And this is why sometimes people get home decorators, because those people will ask you questions and then make your home fit your style. Or if you're feeling down or gloomy or anything like that, they can actually help you to lift that energy that's coming in, right? And let's go into point 3, how your environment influences your habits and your emotions. Thank you so much, Jackson, for the like. I really appreciate it. You can also subscribe and share this channel with all the moms you know, and or anyone who could benefit from this information. If there's something else you would like to talk about in regards to your mental status and your organization and just mental clarity when it comes to your home, definitely let me know in the comments, and you can have your friends and family come over and leave a comment as well, because then it helps me to put out this content. And once again, Jackson, thank you very much. Your environment shapes your habits. You ever come inside and maybe socks are all over the floor, and you could have been having a good day, and then as soon as you get inside, you're feeling upset. You're like, ugh, do I have to tell you again? Your socks are all over the place, and then all of a sudden you start to bicker. And to tell you the honest truth, you should be able to control your own emotions. No one is out there controlling those emotions for you, but some of these things can really trigger you. And so I always say to take a few deep breaths and try to address the issue. Where is this deep seated issue coming from? If you've experienced something like this, please drop it in the comments and, let us discuss it, because we want to help all the moms out there uh, to figure out, what's going on. Why are the children doing certain things? Or, I mean, just anyone in general. Why why does your spouse leave their clothes on the living room chair? Or, things like that. And you know what? We can drop it in the comments, and this way we can discuss it as a group. And someone else can chime in as well. But this space is here just for you guys. Do you know that a messy living room makes it easier to zone out on the couch instead of reading a book or connecting with your family? So having that messy living room, sometimes it shuts down your ability or want to do something. Because guess what? Sometimes the problem is that you just don't know where to begin. You're so welcome, Jackson. Sometimes you don't know where to begin. And what happens is you just keep repeating the cycle. You keep repeating the cycle and keep repeating the cycle because you just don't know. And that's why I say it's very good to get a second opinion or a friend to help you, or join a group that can help you to, start the intention. And there are a lot of them out there that you can do that with. But when your home feels clean, organized, and intentionally done well, you naturally feel more in control, right? Control of your emotions, in control of the things you say. And of course, the word says that it's not what goes in that defiles the man, it's what comes out. So if you're constantly taking in this type of scenery, eventually you explode. So you want to change that decor so that what is going into you is so much better, right? It's making you feel good. So what comes out is something good. So, give your home a little TLC, declutter it, add a touch of decor you love. So color, pictures, paintings, different things like that, and see how your mood shifts. If it doesn't shift well, replace it with something else. I mean, if you need some suggestions, like I said, drop it in the comments, and hopefully others will also chime in. Because, I mean, I'm not a decorator, but I do, I look at people's homes and I say, oh, this is nice or that's nice. And maybe you can give a description and someone can help you with what your decor looks like. All right. If you have any comments about, you know, all the clutter in your home and how it makes you feel, like how your decor and a cluttered home can create visual noise. It's not loud noise, but there's different ways of communication, and that noise becomes visual and it's going into your brain, your psyche. The energy that your decor gives off. You ever walk into someone's home and you feel cold? It's hot outside, but the home feels cold. Yes, that's energy. And how their environment influences your habits and your emotions. So, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like, a subscribe, and share it with someone else. Because I want you all to have that freeing moment of where your mind can be decluttered. And clearing out your home, your area, when you have it more organized, I really do believe that it leaves room for you to think on other things that are important. Because if you're doing the same thing over and over and over again, and sometimes just complaining, but nothing has changed, you're going to constantly be stuck in a corner just complaining. And I always say that if you complain about a situation and you do nothing about it, your situation still has not changed. So ask yourself, what can you do to change the situation one day at a time? And if it is too big, you feel like it's too big to declutter, take out a calendar and say, I'm going to spend 30 minutes every day and start decluttering. And only do 30 minutes because you know that maybe you have a tight schedule or you feel like it's too hard. Break it down little by little. And if you need assistance, let me know. I can help you, put that together if you would like. So, once again, as I always say to my community, I love you. I love you. I love you. And do not let the disorganization of your home get the best of you. Call in a friend or someone to help you declutter. Therefore, you can have a decluttered mind. So, go out and enjoy the rest of your Saturday. I'll see you here next week. I love you. I love you. I love you. Bye-bye.